Hello and welcome to Family Business World. I'm Dr. Dale Caldwell, your host. I have another wonderful guest today from the Reilly Financial Group, George and Kate Reilly. Welcome. How are you both?
Wonderful.
Doing great.
Well, thank you so much for taking time to join Family Business World. As we mentioned, you want to really know about who you are before we talk about some of the business. And George, you actually went to Brown with my brother, Paul Caldwell. So it's good to see one of my brother's friends, and you were on the track and field team. So how did you get into finance, George? I mean, what did you always know you were going to do that?
Actually, no. And it's funny you mentioned Paul because, being an athlete, I think one of the main ingredients, at least that I've witnessed over the last 32 years of being in the service business, is if you played a sport, it actually helps because you need to have a competitive side to you. We found in this industry, you also have to have compassion, and you also have to know what it's like to be on a team. Right? There's no individuals in financial planning. You need to be part of a team. But I originally got into commercial real estate because there was a Brown alum that I interned for when I was in college. And when I first graduated, I worked in commercial real estate. And then at 27, when our first daughter, Meg, was born, we wanted to get back home to New Jersey. My wife and I each grew up in New Jersey. And so I looked into financial services because I felt like it was something where I could make a difference in people's lives.
Wonderful. One of the things about tennis, about sports, is I'm a big tennis guy, and I find people who played a lot of different sports almost adopt some of the culture of the sports. So on track and field, people have roles. Football players have roles. Tennis players a lot of times are single shingle people who are doing, they're independent lawyers or they're other things. So it's really interesting, the sports thing. Now, Kate, you're an athlete as well, right? What sports did you play?
Yes, so I played lacrosse in college at my alma mater, Amherst College, and I definitely think for any job in any industry, sports definitely helps prepare you, but particularly on our team because I know how to receive constructive criticism, and in financial services, I know how to take rejection and move on because I'm used to it from being an athlete. You develop tough skin.
You develop tough skin, and that's one of the best things I think about sports is that you learn how to lose. And I can almost tell people who didn't play sports, they have trouble losing in the business world. It really is a real interesting thing. So, all right, so George, you got into financial planning. What talk about the Reilly Group. What do you focus on, and who do you work with, and how do you serve your clients?
Yeah, so we formed the Reilly Financial Group, and again, a gentleman that I grew up with, Bob Knoll. We played Pop Warner football together in high school football, and he was the fullback and I was the tailback. And so, identifying with the team concept, Bob and I started this 25 years ago. And essentially, we did it because we felt like people out there were looking for holistic planning. They wanted someone who was going to take care of their needs and their wishes. And our tagline, Dale, is we do life together. So we started it because we felt like there was a lot of people at that time in their 20s and 30s, a lot of business owners, a lot of folks that needed a lot of direction. And we felt that the world was really starving for leadership. They wanted someone to guide them, and they wanted someone to help them, draft a plan, set up a roadmap, if you will, for their financial future. So we got into it, and it was just basically, through Bob's help, by working on all the stuff internally, I was able to meet with clients and meet new clients and network and join different associations and nonprofits. And that's how we were able to gather our clients. And now today we have 10 advisors and 9 staff.
Wow.
It took several years to build, but that's where we are today. And it's not too dissimilar. It's all about, treating the clients like family. It's all about making sure that their needs are met. The client always comes first. But at the same time, we also want to make sure that, that we're listening. God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we need to use them in proportion.
Yeah, that's a lesson a lot of people have to learn. So what year did you start? What was your first year of operation?
Yeah, so 1992. I graduated Brown in 87, and I did commercial real estate till 92, and started at the time with MetLife. So, the first few years of my career was mainly protection products, life insurance, disability, et cetera. And then when MetLife became Met Financial Services, we started using mutual funds, annuities, helping people with not only their IRAs, but businesses with their 401ks. And then in really early 2000, we were allowed to create the Reilly Financial Group, which is doing business as in the old culture.
Wonderful. It's this great family business, a father-daughter. So this weekend we were watching one of those romantic comedies, and they had a son working for his dad. And my 16-year-old daughter turned to me and said, "Dad, I'd never want to work in your consulting firm." So talk about that, Kate. And I know you have 2 sisters who didn't work. Tell me about that growing up, and how did you decide to work with your dad?
Yeah, absolutely. So my older sister, who actually just got married this year, is a 3rd grade teacher. And she's one of those kids that at age 8, we all knew she was going to be a teacher. It's just in her blood. It was almost like a vocation. So then next up was me. And I always knew what my dad did on the level of, I knew he woke up in the morning, and as you can see, he put on his suspenders and his suit. And I knew he helped people. And I knew he delivered something called a policy to a lot of people. So that was my understanding when I was a young child. And then going to college, I was a psychology major, but took a lot of coursework in economics. And so I interned with the Reilly Financial Group team. And right away, I could tell it was a great fit because it combined what I really loved most, which was, number one, I loved working with numbers. I geek out on all things math and organization. But then it also combined my psychology background because I had kicked around the idea of becoming a therapist. And now I joke that I'm everyone's financial therapist. And sometimes an unpaid couples counselor when you work with couples and they have really opposing goals, and you kind of have to find a happy medium for them.
Well, I know you work with family businesses, and I mean, the reality is my daughter likes psychology, and I talked to her that no matter what you do, psychology is going to play a role. I don't care if you're a teacher, I don't care if you're a financial planner, I don't care if you're a coach. It all really makes sense. So I was a certified financial planner for many years before I got my MBA at Wharton, and I really love, people would just come up. It's almost like a doctor, People would say, well, my ankle's hurting. What should I do? My portfolio isn't doing well. What should I do? My protection isn't there. So let's get into some of the challenges that small and family and entrepreneurial businesses are facing. What are some of the biggest issues that you're dealing with right now with some of your clients? Either of them.
Yeah, Dale, one of the biggest is healthcare. So quite often, we work with several healthcare providers. One is Vladimir St. Fard, who he's really been a great strategic partner of ours. And the challenge of a lot of our small business clients is the fact that the cost of healthcare is going up every year.
Yep.
And therefore, it's difficult for them to provide additional benefits to their employees. They'd love to give a great 401k with a great match, and they'd love to give group life insurance, group disability. But the challenge has been over the last few years, healthcare. The second thing is always taxes, right? So we are in the midst right now of an interesting time. I would think the majority of our small business clients are really paying attention to the Georgia runoff. Because as that election, as we get the results of that, will then determine a lot of the planning that we're going to be doing with our small business clients as it pertains to either tax savings, capital gains, step up. And then the third, which has been really a challenge since we started, which is many, many years ago, is the estate tax, right? So many small business owners want to pass down their business, the office building they own, the restaurant that they own. But in many instances, if those businesses are worth a significant amount of money, they're not going to be able to pass them to their kids without Uncle Sam taking a bite. So
Right.
we do, when we do planning for a lot of the small business clients, is tell them how to alleviate that tax burden.
One of the things, and I try to stay as much out of politics as possible, but focus on policy. And so obviously I'm biased because I'm supportive of small and family businesses. I've often wondered why the federal government doesn't subsidize healthcare through small businesses to really kind of reduce the cost of healthcare for small businesses so they can hire more people, they can be more sustainable and more successful. I'm hoping that we'll get both parties to kind of agree, given the crisis that we're dealing with small businesses, on doing something like that. Kate, let me ask you about some of the younger investors, the next generation of investors. Do people, are they looking at investing, or are they scared about the future? What are you hearing?
Yeah, definitely. So a lot of my clients are the children of clients
Right.
of George's, or the children of clients of the other senior partners on our team. So a lot of them know that certain things are probably going to come their way. But in general, I work with a lot of folks in their late 20s, 30s, and early 40s. And I think that's a common misconception that millennials are scared of investing. I think we are just really wary as investors because a lot of us either joined the job market in 2008, 2009, or we saw our parents get heavily affected by the 2008, 2009 situation in the economy. So I think that millennials tend to be very wary investors, as well as a type of investing that's becoming a lot more popular, particularly amongst women and millennials, is ESG investing.
Okay.
So that would be socially responsible investing. So our team we utilize models when it comes to advisory accounts, and we've built a socially responsible model to sort of fit the wants and needs of people in that age bracket. A lot of them, the common phrase used is they want to do well by doing good.
Wonderful. And so ESG stands for those that don't know?
Yes, so it's environmentally friendly and then socially responsible and global as well.
Yeah, and so that's that's becoming bigger and bigger and bigger and more important. Let me ask you this, and then we're going to take a break real quickly. We have a juxtaposition of data. We have the Dow Jones Industrial Average hitting 30,000. We have unemployment at record levels at the same time. I've often said we almost need to create a small business index or something. So, we'll hold that thought because we're going to take a quick break now. But I want you to talk to that because as I see it, it's a totally different world. My clients, many of them are closed because of the pandemic, and many of my big clients are doing really, really well. So think about that, and we'll take a break, and we'll be right back to Family Business World in a minute.
Our mark on every field around the world. A world without Temple, well, that's like the sky without the North Star. Temple, never stopping.
The family law firm of Shemtab Dragonovsky Taylor will help you move through and beyond your divorce. We are a full-service boutique family law firm located in Blue Bell, Pennsylvania. We handle cases in Montgomery County, Chester, Bucks, Delaware, and Philadelphia counties. We have 6 highly experienced lawyers and have represented clients for more than 30 years regarding these issues. Our clients depend on us to sort through the complicated issues involved in divorce and division of assets, spousal and child support, and custody. We listen to them, we gather the information, and we help them make informed decisions. We pride ourselves in our knowledge and our experience. We try to settle cases when we can, but we zealously advocate for our clients at trial as experienced and successful litigators. If you need help on any of these family life issues, please call us for an appointment at 215-542-2105 or check us out on our website at www.shemtablaw.com.
So, I got this new family, and I don't know what it is about this one, but she can't seem to put down that toy. All day long. Tap, 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 tap. Oh, and she even talks to it. She talks to that more than she talks to him. What's up, bro? Nice shirt. Who's she talking to? Her mom? She talks to her mom a lot.
Why buy local? When you shop with local businesses, you're spending your money on more than just the item you're buying. You're adding a building block to your neighborhood. It starts with a single purchase, maybe a cup of coffee, groceries from a local co-op, or even a shiny new bicycle from one of the nearly 28 million small businesses nationwide. Your money doesn't stay in the till for long, though. Local business owners use the money to create a lot of economic activity in your neighborhood, like buying from suppliers, many of whom are also local businesses. Paying taxes to the city, which builds and maintains the infrastructure we all rely on. Employing local workers, contributing to 65% of the net new jobs each year. Add this all together and you've got a recipe for a happier, healthier, more connected neighborhood. Now that's an investment worth making.
Welcome back to Family Business World. Before the break, you heard me ask the question that a lot of people are asking, where the Dow Jones Industrial Average is hitting 30,000, is hitting record levels, yet unemployment and small businesses are closed. So there seems to be this juxtaposition. And I wanted some financial experts' kind of thoughts on this, and maybe we need to create a small business index to work. And so George or Kate, what are your thoughts about that?
Sure. So it has been a challenging 9 months, Dale. I will tell you, there's almost two separate markets out there.
Yeah.
There's the growth market and there's the value market. So we have clients of ours that are high technology or high service, and they've been able to use things like Microsoft Teams or Zoom to be able to still communicate with their clients. And believe it or not, they're actually doing better than pre-COVID. They're finding that most people will want to meet via Zoom. So anyone in the service business that used to have, let's say, 10 or 12 appointments a week, we find that they're having more like 18, 20 a week now because of things like Zoom. Having said that, on the flip side, a lot of our clients are in manufacturing and or entertainment are really suffering.
Yeah.
You know, we have clients that are restaurant owners that are barely their doors open. We have clients that cater to hotels and restaurants, either through linens, through chairs, through setup, you know. And I think of our own family. My oldest daughter is going to get married this year at the Westin. We postponed the reception for a year.
Wow.
So the Westin, you can think about it. Multiply that out by all the families that canceled their events at the Westin. So it's been really a huge dichotomy. So there's what we call the stay-at-home companies, like the technology companies, and then there's kind of the back-to-work companies. What you found over the last 5 or 6 weeks is those value companies have actually started to catch up. They're not anywhere close to the growth yet, but value is starting to make a comeback. Why? Because there have been very positive announcements about the vaccine. So that doesn't mean that growth is going to stop, but what we believe is value is going to start catching up once the vaccine gets properly distributed, and hopefully it gets done long before some of these businesses go out of business. But sadly, there are going to be businesses that suffer and can't sustain themselves over the next 3 to 6 months. So it's really anybody's ball game. But what we've been doing is having a healthy balance of growth and value. We emphasized more on growth and technology earlier in the year just because it was the place to be.
Right.
Year, 3, 5 years, as investment advisors, like we used to say with Wayne Gretzky, he would skate where the puck was going, where the puck is. So when we're investing money, we want to talk to people about where we see over the next 12 to 24 months. And we do believe value is going to make a comeback as soon as people start getting on airplanes and going to restaurants again.
Right. And so I can't wait for those days. Also,
Amen.
We're going to show in a second, Marley's going to put up a picture of your office. And so one of the nice things about family businesses is they're among the best places to work because, once you've been there a while, you're treated like family. So now again, how many employees do you have? And we'll get this picture up in a second. And tell me about
so we have 9 employees and we have 10 financial advisors, and we basically call them family.
Wonderful.
They're our partners, they're our team members. I never refer as employees. It's really just one big team. It's the Reilly Financial Group family, and no one person is more important than the other. Again, going back to sports, in football, if 11 people don't do a good job, at the same time. If one person slips up, the play is going to fail, right? So we heavily rely on one of the greatest staffs, I think, in the country. They do such a great job servicing our clients, making sure that their needs are met so that the financial advisors can go out and give them cutting edge advice.
That's fantastic. I think yesterday I don't know if people are Giants fans, and I like the Giants and Seattle, and that game yesterday was really two of the defensive backs were just, Russell Wilson's probably one of the best quarterbacks ever, and they were just beating up their front line, and you could see that they played the team. The Giants, nobody expected the Giants to win, but for that week, now they've had a bad year, they played as a team. And it's true in business, and that's why I like the sports analogy with business or so. And so, Kate, we see your dad's suspenders, and I like suspenders, and some of us have been around a while, and I'm going to confess on TV. In 1983, I got 4 Adidas sweatsuits, and I still wear today. And they were so old, they've come back in style. So they're actually exactly like the new ones that come out. And so same thing with suspenders. So you're going to start a trend with suspenders. So what's your unique dressing proposition? The unique selling proposition, Kate. What's going to be your unique dressing proposition to stand out like your dad?
I know. I joke. I wish I kept all the windbreakers I had in the 90s because they're all in style now. Exactly. And now you've got to buy them for like $100. I should have kept all my starter jackets and all my old school windbreakers. I think as far as setting myself apart, obviously in the financial services industry, there's a lack of women female advisors. Yeah. So definitely the minority. So I think just showing up in women's clothes as opposed to men's clothes always sets yourself apart.
Absolutely.
But what I really have always valued, and something that the Reilly Financial Group values, and something my dad has instilled in me since I was a child, is that old school doesn't necessarily mean a bad thing. A lot of times I think we've moved into the sector. I think a lot of people have moved away from dressing up, and we've all moved towards a little bit more casual clothing. So I think sometimes you set yourself apart, especially for me, who was on the younger side of things. I think I definitely look older and more mature and more sophisticated when I'm wearing a full suit. So as much as my friends might make fun of me when I meet up with them for a drink after work, I'm like, I don't care. I'm going to wear the blazer. It might be countercultural for people my age, but I think it sets yourself apart, and it shows that you're taking not only what you do really seriously, but right. I think that because we're client facing, I'm showing that I take meeting with them incredibly seriously. Yeah, and I think, the counter trendy, there's too much stuff that's trendy. I do whatever, and you're not cool. But Kate, let me stay with you too, because that's an important point. And especially as you heard, I have a daughter. How do we get more women why aren't more women into financial services? Is it just a career that they don't think about? Or talk to me, how do we level the playing field there? Yeah, I'm actually, it's something I feel really passionate about. And I'm part of the women's advisory board in our industry. And one of the things we talk about is that women would make and do make amazing financial advisors. The problem is I think the job is not properly explained, as far as even just job descriptions on a website, but also when they send people to college campuses to go speak with female prospects. I think the job is explained too similarly to something like investment banking or something along the lines of not as client facing. Whereas in my opinion, I think women are the best networkers. It's so natural to us. All you have to do is ask a group of parents, and you realize that if a group of parents are all friends, the moms have all now shared like where to get the best deal on clothes, where to get the best deal on groceries, like which doctor is the best in town, which college counselor is the best to go to, which SAT. In our town, I think everyone uses the same woman for SAT prep. So I find that women make really natural networkers, and sitting down and helping someone organize their financial junk drawer, if you will, is something where women are particularly talented in making connections and building trust and rapport. I think sometimes it's easier for women than men. I also think we're moving towards a trend where there are now slightly more female business owners than men in certain sectors. And I think a lot of female business owners who maybe have been ignored by male financial advisors in the past are really looking for a female to work with because they want to support their fellow females in finance. So I think we're on the right trend, and we just got to continue advertising it the right way.
Well, very, very well said. And I say that because if you look at most couples, it seems like, I think the research shows the women are typically managing the finances in the household. So you would think there'd be even more. And so let me ask, either of you. So the family businesses, the small family business, their business is they're getting back. They're starting to make money again. As the pandemic hopefully will begin to go away. What are some of the things they should be thinking about as they're planning? And so we're almost done, so we'll finish on this. If I'm a family business owner, what should I be thinking about when it comes to the world of financial planning and protection?
Certainly taking a look at your company's benefits, right? If there's ever a year where you can either cut back a bit or reduce some of the benefits, I think employees understand. I think employees appreciate the fact that they still have a job and that they're still employed. So what we've been encouraging our small business clients who have maybe suffered a bit is, number one, look at your benefits. Number two, look at what the government can offer you. We were on the phone literally from March through probably July, August, helping people with their PPP loans.
Right.
And we think the PPP loan was a great, injection into the small business market. Hopefully there's going to be more coming, which again is the topic even today down in Washington as far as more stimulus is concerned. That's the first thing. The second thing is definitely do more Zooms and more webinars for your employees, particularly on things like healthcare, on dealing with stress and anxiety, because being home for the last 7 or 8 months, Dale, there's been so many cases, sadly, of people who are suffering. And you can provide that, and you can provide it really for free, because there are many, many people that'll speak on this topic. And then the last thing is, as far as the finances are concerned, what we've been doing with a lot of our small business clients is doing webinars for their employees, whatever the topic is. We can do it on, investments. We can do it on, the election. We can do it on, what to look for next year as far as planning is concerned. And even just things like, staying, keeping your office clean and appropriate, and through COVID-19. There are many, many rules and regulations that are important and appropriate. There are many things you can do for your employees that don't cost anything. So take advantage of those. Let the employees know that you care. My 9 employees have been home, for 8 or 9 months, and they've been so appreciative. And we've been just getting together like this on Zoom 2-3 times a week. And we all talk about the weekend. How's your family? How are your kids? How are your parents?
Wonderful.
The more you show your employees that you care, the more successful you're going to be in 2021 when hopefully this thing comes back.
Excellent. Well, George and Kate, unfortunately, as I said, this time goes by very, very quickly. Really enjoyed talking to you. Good luck. Stay safe. And I want to thank the audience for watching Family Business World, and we will see you next week. Thanks again. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you.